So Chris is here this morning to help us, to give us a few tips and tricks on us as far as real estate agents, how we can communicate more effectively through our branding, because branding is so important. So Chris, welcome to Agent Jumpstart, and help us out where you can, because we all need help all the time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. And after that introduction, boy, I feel a little humbled, especially after hearing all of your great comments. It sounds like everybody is already on fire. So perhaps I'm preaching to the choir a little bit. But as Brigitte mentioned, we all can benefit. We can all learn. So I'm going to be sharing my screen here. We're going to go through some slides, but we're really going to be talking a lot as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you would, let me know when you can see this screen here. That's showing up there. Excellent. Okay, I want to just kind of try something just a little bit, because I want to get a full screen if I could. Okay. First of all, the first question that comes that many people ask is, what is a copy consultant? Because that's basically what I am. As Brigitte mentioned, we communicate. We help you out with your communicating. And in particular, we're going to talk about branding today. But what is a copy consultant? Well, basically, I specialize in helping companies get their message out, whether that's to employees, whether that's to customers, or to the public. You know, because we all know that engaging your audience is important. But if it's not worded properly, it's really a waste of time and a waste of money too. So I'm here to help you put your thoughts into action and try to develop the best marketing method that you can possibly have, and provide copy or printed words, whether for your website, for flyers or anything such as that. And we design it specifically for you. We're going to talk about houses and hamburgers. All right. Brigitte Hill and I, hypothetically, are both starting a hamburger business. And real estate agents, you all know, location, 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 right? So we're in the same location. So apples to apples, we're at the same there, and we've got the same budget. But we both are offering hamburgers. Now, I'm going to give Brigitte, I'm going to give you 3 advantages. And these advantages are things that you have that I do not have. And I'm going to take one advantage, and we're going to see who wins. I'll even help you out. Looking at that picture there, your first advantage, we're going to give you sesame seed buns. I can't do sesame seed buns. You can. Give me 2 more advantages about your burger. And this isn't brain surgery. Let's make it fun, just real quick. What two advantages would you like?
I wasn't okay.
For your favorite hamburger, what would you want for your customers?
Gouda cheese.
Ooh, Gouda cheese. Okay, everybody take note of that, because we're going to come back to it. Gouda cheese. Okay, I can't do Gouda cheese. She does Gouda cheese. Okay, what's another one? All I do is just jalapeno cheese, right? And you know what that means? I'm jalapeno business, right?
Oh boy, okay.
That's a bad one.
That was a bad dad joke.
Okay, but you got the Gouda cheese. Okay, what else?
And the red onions.
Red onions. Oh, those are nice. Oh, so you really got me in a bad situation. Sesame seed buns, Gouda cheese, and red onions. I can't have that on any of my burgers. I've got a special sauce though. The special sauce that I have on my burgers is HH-LC. All right, HH-LC. That's my special sauce, and I'd hazard to guess that I'm going to sell her under the table. I hope you're good at real estate, because you're not going to do good as a hamburger salesman.
I'm pretty good at real estate, but probably not hamburgers.
Probably not. All right. Well, let's remember her 3 advantages and my special sauce, HH-LC. Now, before I give you the answer and why my secret sauce beats her advantages hands down, let's talk about branding. Okay. And why is that so important? Keep that demonstration in mind, because we're going to come back to it at the end. Branding. Why is that so important? Well, all of you have licenses, and according to my latest research, there are 3 million active real estate licenses in this country. So just the fact that you have a license and you got the sign on the door saying you sell real estate, that is not necessarily going to get you business, right? you have to do something that's going to stand out. Chances are you're probably not the only show in town. Are there other real estate agents? I'm sure. Yes, there's many of them. Well, that's where branding comes in. You have to show that you are different. You have to show that you've got an identity that's different than everyone else. In just one simple sentence, when we think about branding, I like to think of it from the point of view, what is it that you do special? What makes you different than everyone else? See, why should I go to you rather than to Joe down the street? Because all real estate agents are selling properties or buildings or houses or something such as that. What makes yours distinct? What makes you better or different than the rest of the agents in your area? Well, as we see here on the screen, these are the different niches of individuals that you could have as your audience. You've got first-time home buyers, vacation homes, estate sales. We can go all the way down the line, even mentioning international real estate, multifamily homes, foreclosures. We can go on and on. Now, perhaps you may be able to offer all of those, but it's so much more effective if you can hone in and have some specialties, focusing on individuals of those groups, and that is your specialty. You deal just with first-time buyers, or you deal just with estate sales. You'll find that in so many cases, you can be so much more effective. Now, I'm not saying don't do any of the others, but what is your specialty? See, that's what you focus on. Quick example to help you to understand. Perhaps we all have that general practitioner, our regular doctor that we go to, our family doctor. And many doctors make anywhere from 90, 100,000 a year. And they work very hard to do that. Then you have brain surgeons or other types of specialists. They don't work nearly as long, but oftentimes they make twice or three times as much. Why? Because they're a specialist. That's what we pay for. We pay for someone who specializes. So likewise, as a real estate agent, what is your specialty? Now, I mentioned just a few there. I'm sure all of you as experts know that there are a lot of other areas that you can specialize in. Have you found your specialty? Now, I'm sure in your training, if you're just starting out, maybe you haven't found that specialty. But as your training and mentoring will go on, you will no doubt find some advantages. And that's part of your branding. Well, how do you do that? Well, branding is really a very complex strategy. And of course, we can't go into it in the short time that we have here together this morning, but we can get the basic idea of it and see how this can work. And really, the how is not nearly as important as the why. I like to think why is so important because we can understand the why, the how, the what, all of those things, you can figure that out. First and foremost, we have to get in our minds, in our DNA, we need to understand why branding is so important. You know, I like to think of the word why as being so important. Why is so important. It's got its own letter of the alphabet. That's how important why is. So I want you to understand that branding is so important. Think of it. You have folks who are Mac users and you have those who are Microsoft users. And in many cases, and I don't want to get into a debate, but in many cases, they're not that different. They both accomplish the same thing, but there are some people, all they buy is Mac. There are some who only buy iPhones. There are those who only buy Converse or Nike. See, they're buying a brand. And that's why branding is so important. And we want to make sure that that translates into your real estate business as well. Now, of course, there are specific laws by your state and also by your firm that you're working with that provides some guidance that you want to make sure that you're following as well. So you want to make sure you understand that when it comes to whatever your branding is, so that make sure that you're in line legally and following your company's policies and so forth. But in other respects, your personal branding makes a big difference. If you're an individual agent, stay within those boundaries, but make sure that you stand out as different. So very briefly, what's one way that you brand? The most familiar one when we think of real estate, having signage. There's nothing quite like going into a town and you see a for sale sign in the yard. See, that shows that even in this digital era, when you see a for sale sign with a real estate logo on it, that's showing that you've got some credibility. You're a real live business. You're in business and people trust that you can sell houses. So a for sale sign is a great way to brand. Now, what's even more effective than a for sale sign is when you go into an area and you see a sold sign in the yard, because that means not only that you know how to sell, but you're having some effect. And when you go through a town and you see all these sold signs with the real estate name on it, this is an effective agent. People put faith in you to sell homes and to help them to buy homes. That's why it's so important. But that's just the most obvious one when we talk about a for sale sign. There's direct mail. Once again, some call it snail mail, but it's still very effective, even in the social media area. So we want to make sure that to a certain extent, there is some direct mail involved. It's kind of like a big business card. Yeah, that's what your direct mail efforts could be, whether that's flyers, whether it's an newsletter that you have. See, that's the way that you brand. That's the way you engage with your audience so that they get to see you. Because really what branding is all about is so that you are top of mind. So when it comes time to buy or when it comes time to sell, your name is going to be the first one. You're going to be the only one that comes to mind because you have that good engagement with your audience. Now, of course, in the times that we're living in, social media is so important. Let people know, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, you're helping people to know that you're here to help them sell their home. So it's good that you have some good branding on social media. And once again, following the policies of your company, of your agency, but see if that's an avenue that you can brand yourself so that you can be available there. Now, social media is nice, but as we all know, there are algorithms and systems in place so that you don't necessarily have complete control. So having a website or having a page on your agency's website is more effective. All you have to do is look at Zillow, Realtor.com, all of that's proof. And even your own agency's website. See, that's proof that it does work. Most people start their search for a home on the internet. So having a very nice website can make a difference. That can really be effective in your enterprise. So all of these things that we mentioned, whether it's your signs, whether it's your social media or your website, all of that's good. And all of that requires some copy. It requires some words. It requires somebody to be putting all of that stuff on there. And that's where sometimes there's an issue. And that's where copy consultants come in, because we help you choose the right words, help you to weave your message in such a way so that it's persuasive, so that people know who you are and what you do. So what is your brand personality? On your real estate sign, do you have a picture there, your picture? So it's really showing that you're the face of this business. On Instagram, do you do Instagram Live? And not just talking about the business, but maybe 20% or so with some personal stuff about you, about the background of your agency, about the company. Because Marketing 101 teaches us what? That people buy from who they know, like, and trust. So it's very important that people know us so that we're not just someone in the phone book or something on a website. No, they get to know us as a person. So when it is time to buy, we are there for them and they know that we can help them out. So that's what really this is all about. Okay, so as we talk about branding, we want to keep in mind that it's all about relationships. See, if people can really connect with you on that personal level, they're more likely to want to do business with you. And that's why branding is more important now than ever, because there are so many options out there. Some of us, I might be showing my age there, but some of us might remember when the ice cream company talked about how they were going to have 31 flavors, right? You remember that? And we thought that was the biggest thing, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Now you're going to add 31 flavors to that? See, that's amazing. Well, this internet age that we're in now, we've gone beyond 31. We've gone beyond 3,100. We've gone beyond 31 million. See, so people have so many choices. We want to make sure that we're doing something to make us stand out. And that's where branding comes in. Branding is so important. Now, to demonstrate how important this really is, let's go back to our little hamburger scenario there. Here you see my secret sauce. While Brigitte had her red onions and she had her, her Gouda cheese and her sesame seed buns, my HH-LC are hungry, hamburger loving customers. See, that's really what it comes down to. She could have all of those other things, but if she doesn't have the customers, it doesn't make a difference. If I bring my customers with me because I've got a brand or I'm part of a franchise and people just know that, hey, if you go to Chris's Burgers, you're going to get this, this, and this, it doesn't make a difference who else is right next door to me. Having customers is really going to make a difference. Now, is that just for hamburgers? No, the same thing works for houses and businesses as well. That's why branding is so important. If you want your real estate business to really grow, you've got to set yourself apart from the competition. A real estate branding strategy will help you to establish yourself as an expert. Remember what we talked about? You've got the regular doctor who you go to, but if you've got a limp or a lump or you've got a problem, see, then it's time to go to see a specialist, and we're willing to pay for that specialist. Likewise, when it comes to your branding, you want to establish yourself as an expert in the field, and that's going to help you to connect on a personal level with your buyers and sellers. That's really what it's all about. Find your audience, finding your voice, and then speak directly to them. All right. Really getting in front of the customer, getting them to sit and listen to what you have to say is really the most important thing. And I want to thank all of you for sitting down. I think I saw someone who was driving before, but they parked. So they sat still and listened to what we were talking about. I really want to thank you for doing that. You notice I've used the word sit 3 times, S-I-T. See, that is so important in your business as well as in my business. If you can get your customer, your audience to sit and listen, that makes a difference. Now, for me, as a copy consultant, I like to use that word sit because that's where I can help you out. And to help you to understand why sit is so important, I'm going to ask my friend Sir Barks a lot to help us out. We say that to our dog a lot, sit, right? Well, when it comes to real estate and copywriting, many do not have the skill. That's what that S stands for. They don't have the skill to write. One expert said that with 26 men, I can defeat any army. And what is he talking about? How could 26 men defeat an army? He's talking about the 26 letters of the alphabet. The pen is mightier than the sword. Yes, being able to weave words together in a persuasive way is a skill. And many of us don't have that. That's where a copy consultant can help out. Many of us may have the skill, but we may not have the inclination. See, we don't want to. You want to sell houses. You don't want to sit and write and everything. That's where a copy consultant comes in. And then that last letter T, we may have the skill, we may have the inclination, but who has the time to do that? I heard someone, I think it was Chris, beforehand made the comment, I got a lot going on. I'm glad we're recording this. See, because many of us don't have the time. Does this look like you in this picture here? Yes, we wish we had 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 hands because we've got so much going on. Well, that's where a copy consultant comes in. I could help you out with all 3 of those things. With the skill, I've got the inclination, and I've got the time to save you when it comes to doing those things. So what's in it for you? You know, that radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me? Well, this is what a full service real estate copywriting service could include. Whether that's writing bios for your agents, your teams and sales managers, product descriptions for your website or brochures, marketing letters, postcards, even copy for your website. So many websites aren't looked at because they're not interesting. See, we need to know how to write for that. For your pitch packages, your press releases, articles, newsletters, all of these things. Now, in order to see if I'm the right person for you or if we can help, well, I've got something I need from you and I have something for you. All right. Now, how's that? How's that? Don't we all like free, right? That famous word there. But what I have for you and what I need from you is I have a very brief survey that I like, Brigitte, if you could send that out now. Just a brief survey. This is helping me to see how I can improve in presentations such as this. And when I say brief, we're looking at 3 questions. So it doesn't take a lot of time for you to do this. And in doing that, I'll offer you a free tool. And this tool is helping you to build your brand. Basically, in 15 minutes, one-on-one time, I can help you to build your brand so that you can get an identity. Now, of course, you'll be able to build on this and use this throughout your career, but this will give you a solid foundation on how you can build your brand. You can use this in addition to what your agency is offering. You'll see how you can plug in lots of different things in there because it's open enough so that it can be used by many individuals, but it's kind of like a roadmap. So on that survey, there's an option, an email, so that you can connect with me for just 15 minutes. And we can put together a brand tool for you that you can use throughout your career. So that's basically what I have for you this morning. I really appreciate your time. And at this time, just wanted to open up for any questions if you had any.
Chris, that was great. Really appreciate it, and especially providing a tool that the agents can use. I do have a question. I'll start off. Many people talk about branding and marketing. So what's the difference between the two? I know most people have a question as to what's the difference between branding and marketing.
And that is a great question. Yeah, when you think about marketing, they're similar, but there, as in most things, there is a difference. Marketing is basically just getting a message out to your particular audience. And good marketing is to a targeted audience, as we talked about, getting it to that particular person. Branding has to do with the more personal connection. That's where, as we talked about, you have some people who, I'm an Android guy. I love Androids, and I'm sure, and I've been told all the advantages and benefits of Apple, but hey, I like Android. That's that branding. And that really helps us to see. And it's more, even to a certain extent, on a psychological level. If we go back to the comparison between Microsoft and Mac, if you just look carefully at the commercials, the way Apple, the way the Mac presents itself is completely different than the IBM. It really represented individuals who were separate from the big institutions. Their commercials, you don't see people wearing ties. They didn't represent big business. It was more the idea of, hey, I'm out on my own, the whole rebellion type thing. So branding is more on a personal level, while marketing is more, you could almost say, about the what. Branding is the why, and marketing is the how and the what to do it. So I hope that helps answer that question a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, that's really what it's all about. It's helping them to identify, who their audience is and how they can reach them. And in so doing, how they want to present. Just give me just a little bit of a preview. There are some companies who like to present themselves in a very lighthearted, easygoing way. And then there are some, their personality is all businesslike. I've got customers who are very techie, and that's the way they want it presented. But then I do have some tech companies who are very lighthearted. So they want a fresh approach, and they want to be able to explain high-level, detailed information so the average person can understand it. So yes, it's helping them to see what sort of voice do you want to present. Are you serious and stern? Are you sophisticated, or do you like to present an elegant point of view? And some of that depends on what you're offering, what you offer to the first-time buyer compared to the international marketer. That would be different. Your tone and your voice would be different. And this helps us to see how we can do that. What's the nuts and bolts of how I can present myself, even the wording that we use. In this tool, it's a nice way. It even has what word choice we use, whether or not we're going to use contractions or not. Because in some writing, you want it like the Chicago AP, like you read in the newspaper, very detailed. But then many people, when they read, especially on websites, they're not necessarily reading, they're skimming, right? So that means we need to write in such a way that people will read it, where we put bullet points, and we're not long paragraphs, but it's designed in such a way so that it can really catch the reader's attention, catch their eye. All I ask is that you do the brief survey, and then you get the free tool in 15 minutes. In fact, sometimes I can even do it in less than that, because the whole idea of 15 minutes, I've got other things to do. I've got so much to do. That's why I wanted Brigitte to send this out to you now. So you spend just 5 minutes maybe to do the survey, and then 15 minutes one-on-one. So I actually kind of put together what can we do in 20 minutes time, because that's what the cost is. It's going to cost you about 20 minutes, right? In 20 minutes time, well, let's see, you can watch 3/4 of a 30-minute TV show, right? You get right to the cliffhanger, not get that last 10 minutes. You can waste time on Facebook for 20 minutes, or you can be effective. You can clean your bathroom, make your bed, or do a few things. So basically, yeah, the only thing it would cost you is about 20 minutes. So
Now,
I really appreciate the survey, and then that one-on-one time, and I think you really benefit from it.
Okay, now Rose just sent me a message that said that the survey is not editable. Did I send the wrong one?
Oh, let's see. That's right, because I sent it to you as a link. That's true. Yes, it probably is not, because if you read it, I'm asking for you to email it back to me, not necessarily doing that on Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
Yes, good catch. Yes, I probably should have explained that. Yeah, so yeah, if you download it as a Word document, then you can type it and then you can email it back to me.
Okay.
Because I did try to see making it editable on Google, and then I had a hard time distinguishing who it was coming from, because I didn't know how many we were going to have. Right. Yeah, because it would all come as changes. So little extra step, you'd have to send it back to me as an email, and that way I can connect with you personally.
Great. So Al, I see your mic is on. You had a comment?
Yeah. I have a question for Chris. Chris, what would you say to an agent that looks at branding and likes, for example, what you've shared with us, but says, this sounds like a great idea, but I'm just getting started, and I'm probably not really ready for this. That will be one thing, just the mindset. The other would be, plus, since I'm just getting started and so on, I really, this is probably real expensive, and so I need to start making a good amount of money before I can throw some money at branding. So what would you say to an agent about those two topics? The just getting started, don't have enough business to really worry about this right now, and also the at least the range of what the cost would be.
Sure, and those are two great questions, and really appreciate those. Yeah, on the idea, first of all, about when to start. For many folks, when it comes to marketing, whether new or old, that's how you get your business. And they almost have an idea of spray and pray. They just kind of throw stuff out there and hope something comes back, right? But this marketing and branding is really helping you to be a little more strategic, right? And this way, you're not just, because everyone talks about paid ads and doing this and doing that, and you could actually end up spending a lot of money and really getting nothing out of it. So trying to find a brand and trying to find your audience, your voice, is really important sooner rather than later. Because rather than chasing after a whole lot of different things, if you can chase one, you're more likely to catch it. It's better to take, one step forward it's better to take a few steps forward in the same direction than to take 20 steps in different directions, because you end up really getting nowhere. So branding really helps you to strategically market, because email is still the best way to market, despite what people think, but so many emails don't get opened because people don't know how to write them. So in answer to how much it would cost, it would depend on working with you one-on-one to see what your budget is. And even if you don't have a budget, I've worked with customers that don't have a budget. We found money, and now they have a budget, not just for marketing and branding, but for other things as well. So it's far less than what you think. And still more on a one-on-one, we can figure out, design something specifically for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for the question.
You're welcome.
If you think about it, the initial one is free. So we all do all the free stuff first. So do the free
Absolutely,
stuff first.
yes.
Do the free stuff. And then you might you can come back around, circle back around from learning from what that free does, and then maybe do something else with that a little bit later.
And that is a very good point. Yeah, because in fact, that's the way I finish with this, with that 15-minute one-on-one. You could take this and do it yourself. That's why we use that little acronym SIT. Some individuals, after they get some direction, they have the skill and they can write it and they can do this on their own, but they've got the knowledge. So the only thing it cost them was 15 minutes for the one-on-one and 5 minutes. So they basically just cost them 20 minutes. Other individuals may say, wow, this sounds good, but I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or I don't have the time to do this. And then we figure out, okay, it's going to cost you time or it's going to cost you money. What are you willing to do? And then we design a price that works for them. I want this. It's almost kind of like a la carte. I do want this. Let's go ahead and how about if you just write my bio or write some emails for me or something such as that. And then we kind of go from there.
Great question.
So I have a question for Chris. Since you're talking about email, I am a big advocate when it comes to email marketing. Mm-hmm. And I find it in my business is more effective for me, email and text messages especially. Mm-hmm. So, for example, when the story I gave you at the beginning, how could I improve for my client to open my email instead of just assuming? Because in the title of the email, I purposely titled the email that I move because the intention were to get my client to open the email, but I find out like from this lady, for example, she did not open the email. She assuming that I was living in Texas, where there is nowhere in the email it says Texas. I just say I move. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, in the title of my email, where can I improve it? Can you give me an example?
Sure. And I'll tell you, Rose, it sounds like you were on the right track already. Yes, email marketing is very effective. In some respects, you can get almost $40 to every dollar you put into email marketing. It is still the cheapest and most effective, but you have to be careful because, like you say, many of us, in the time we've been sitting here, I don't know if you've seen, but my computer has been dinging and going off because I've been getting emails. Most of them I probably will not answer. So we have to figure out a way to get people to open it. And I like the fact that you addressed the subject line, the title. That makes all the difference. So what I encourage people to do is to spend as much time on your subject line as you do on your email. In fact, even more. So many of us, we spend so much time crafting an excellent email, and then we just throw in a subject line. Most people will not read it. So just a quick suggestion, as much time as you spend on that email, put just that much time into the subject line. I moved may not be enough to get someone to open it. The golden rule always works. What emails do you open? When you look at your inbox, which ones catch your attention? And the way you do that, you want to take the time to really invest in crafting. And notice the words I'm using. You need to craft a headline. But just always remember what your goal. Your goal is to get them to open it. Now, having that in mind, whatever you're going to have in the body, if you can connect that so that now they get the payoff. Because if there's the hook but no payoff, what do we call that? See, that's clickbait, that's spam. So you want to have some sort of way so there's a payoff so that when you say hello or I've moved, see where, or I've moved, I may be closer to you. See, then make sure that in the body of that email, you're answering that. You're giving the payoff. So now I've read and think, oh, yeah, she is close to me. Or this brokerage now is maybe even not physically, but because of the scope of it, now they are able to help me because now there's the payoff.